Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. We're a few days removed from the absolute murdering of Paladin. Paladin, you look at the front page, it's like 45%. We're gonna go over the 5, well actually I have 12 decks this time because I'm weird, best decks to climb in standard, as well as I do have 5 decks for wild that you can reasonably expect to take to climb, whether it's silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend for the very first time. As always, craft at your own risk. You never know when nerfs are gonna come, especially Demon Hunter, which literally doesn't have a bad matchup right now. At least a diamond through legend, it doesn't have a bad matchup. Its worst matchup is itself at 50%. So yeah, Demon Hunter's probably getting nerfed the next patch. Who knows what that'll be? And as always, if you enjoy the content on the channel, if you like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like, it helps us out a lot. So yeah, starting off, Demon Hunter is absolutely the best deck, the best class at all ranks right now. It is pretty ridiculous, and it all comes down to one broken interaction. Umpire's Grasp, the 3-mana weapon, draw a demon, reduce its cost by 2, get that window shopper, and then basically you really just want to discover this card, Mechtherodon, which I'm really bad at discovering, but you have like a 1 or a 3 out of 11 to get it, and then that's just ridiculous. You can also get like Illidari, and the deck's really good. You have good early game aggression too. Just play a bunch of 1-drops. Ballhog is an insane card. Metamorphosis puts out a lot of damage, and you got like a thick Ziliax. People are between like the ticking module and the Haywire and power module, just get a bunch of stats for cheap, right? So best deck in the game right now, if you're looking for just one to play, it's pretty good, and I don't believe you have to craft a legendary for it. I just think you need epics like Window Shopper. I guess you need Ziliax, but you get full dust refund right now for it. So yeah, mulligan for that instrument tech, get that weapon, and basically win a lot of games. I do expect a nerf on this. I don't know if it'll be soon. Typically, the next patch should be like in 2 to 3 weeks minimum. It's gonna be a bit, unless they decide to hot fix it, and the numbers are early pretty scary, so you never know, but you look out for that. Next, we have the Reno-ish Demon Hunter. Yes, Reno Demon Hunter. Playable, not as good as Aggro Demon Hunter, and I call it Reno-ish because you run 2 copies of Window Shopper and 2 copies of Umpire's Grasp. You got 1 Grasp, you're gonna get the Shopper, and then your Highlander's ready to go, and those cards are too utterly broken not to run, and the win rates are good on it. You also get the upside of playing, you know, your Reno later in the game. You got your Argus Titan, Gunslinger, Kurtrus for some disruption. It's playable, it's good. It is solely carried again by Grasp, by Window Shopper. Demon Hunter is completely propped up by that right now, and it will be also interesting to note, which will they nerf? The weapon that's a common or the Window Shopper that's an epic, or both, who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. Again, I can't see it not getting nerfed. It's so good, and yeah, people are already tucking in like Glacial Shard for the mirror. It's good to freeze Demon Hunters these days because you can't really Viper the weapon. I'll be streaming later today, twitch.tv. We're gonna record some gameplay for some Reno Demon Hunter if you want to come hang out, or check it out on the YouTube's no gameplay video later today, but we will have one on Sunday. Next we have Zoo Hunter, the Hunter token deck doing really well. By the way, there's still like, I have 12 decks to recommend. There's plenty of stuff to play, but Demon Hunter is definitely the best thing to play. Yeah, Hunter got nerfed, right? Awakening Tremor, still worth running. It's still good. You can buff it up as well. I believe, do they have Buzzard in here? No, Buzzard's not even here. It's just good to curve out with, and also works very well still with Observer of Myths, but you got a lot of the new cards in here like Remote Control, RC Rampage are disgusting, and then you slap Saddle up onto it, and a lot of people just can't remove that board, and you could try and, you know, kill people with Leroy, your Agrimar, the ridiculous damage that the location can get in there. And now that Warrior is significantly worse, but still playable, by the way. Hunter has seemed to get better, and seems to, I think it does okay against Demon Hunter, but like nothing does amazing against it. We highlighted yesterday Sif Mage, which is very solid deck. It's already been teched a bit more for Demon Hunter. The list I ran yesterday did not have 2 cryopreservations to freeze the face. It can freeze anything. So yes, the meta is very teched for Demon Hunter, but it can gain a lot of armor with Sleet Skater, which can be really good against those decks. It has one of the closer matchup spreads against Demon Hunter, and it can beat the slower decks. You got the Sith combo, Puzzle Master Kagdar's in there, is doing some good work, and yeah, Sif Mage is still a really effective deck, and getting that good tool from the core set, Primordial Glyph, especially its synergy with Stargazing, can be a lot of mana cheat, a lot of good stuff. So yeah, Sif Mage wasn't bait yesterday. It's a legit good deck. Next, we have Wheel Warlock, one of the best performing decks as well on ladder. Not much has changed with it. We're running Elemental Geo to cycle a bit more, but it's all about get that wheel out, cheating out your Fanatum. You might get another 15-15 with your Forge of Wills. Ziliax in there to help you in the fatigue game and give you some life steal. That could be really solid. You got Symphony of Sins, Doomkin to get to that win condition a little bit faster, but basically you want to wheel, you want to follow it up with your Reno, your Sargeras, your Fanatum, and then you just kind of win, because it really isn't 5 turns. It's more like 4, right? It kind of is misleading the way you would think is like you win in 5 turns. It's really 4, and it really shows, and this deck is still performing well, and the big taunts can do a lot of good work against Demon Hunter, unless they're running Kayn. Kayn can also punish you on that one. Death Knight, still very viable, still really good. Plague Death Knight has been going around. I'm featuring Hearthstone brew list because it's a little bit spicier. Because yeah, sometimes you just run out of cards. You don't have like Finley to cycle through. You're not running Magatha, you're running Hearthstone brew instead for some spice, but overall, yeah, shuffle the plagues, kill your opponent. You got keychaining here, discover some more good 2-mana stuff, but overall, it's been the same deck for a while. Plucky Paintbin is kind of nice because it gets out your Burrow Busters and your Reskas and your Chained Guardians. Also, you shut down the Reno decks, of course, when you get all those plagues going in. They can't Steam Cleaner you anymore, so yeah, still doing pretty well. I think I don't know, at least for me, I prefer the Rainbow Death Knight. This again is that control variant we highlighted the other day. Seems to be the best performing Rainbow deck over Hand Buff, over like the Corpse Taker stuff. It's just really good. And Quartzite Crusher, kind of mandatory right now to freeze those Demon Hunters. You keep hitting them in the face with Quartzite Crushers. You can discover more with your Runes of Darkness. Can be really solid. And you got healing in here and some late game. You got Headless Horseman, who I absolutely love. Really cool deck, and it does, yeah, it seems to be legit. Again, I don't think I was bait. I got comments like, why is it clickbait? I'm like, I'm only suggesting good decks so far. I'm not doing the gimmick stuff yet. Not yet, at least. Next, we have Zari Priest. Has really picked up. One of the better decks that wasn't doing great before the patch is really elevated. You know, Time Winder Zari, letting you get that extra turn. You can just smork down. You could combo it with like a bunch of Thirsty Drifters for cheap. They've gone away from that whole giant build. It just doesn't seem to be working, but you play just a really aggressive early game with a lot of 1-drops, cheap dragons like Whelp Wrangler to get your dragons going for your Zari. Of course, this combo of Funnel Cake and Clergy can let you draw, cheat 1 billion mana. It's absolutely disgusting. And yeah, pretty effective, and the numbers are really, really promising on it. I don't know how popular it's been, but one I'm definitely going to recommend. So we're going to recommend a Priest deck. Priest seems to be emerging as playable. Reno Warrior, probably the best of the Warrior options right now. I was looking at Cycle Odin Warrior. Numbers are still pretty decent on it. Not a lot of people are playing because it got nerfed, but it seems to be a counter to Demon Hunter. It's one of the best ones out there. I'm not recommending any of the really nerfed decks right now, but maybe next deck recommendation video, Cycle Odin Warrior will be on the list. But yeah, we got Inventor Boom in here, which I'm waiting for the diamond, so I don't have it golden or anything, which can like smash face more with like Ziliax. I believe Burrow Buster works with it. Our ETC here has got Gaslight, Gatekeeper, Vendor, Projectionist. But basically, the main win condition now, not so much Odin, not that Reno Warrior's been running Odin lately, is Boom Boss. Just blowing up your opponent's deck is really effective. Boom can be a lot of damage. You got all your excavate stuff, a lot of armor gain, removal. It's performing well. It's a good deck for the most part. Aftershock still appears to be worth running. And I have seen the Tendril stuff going around, but all the numbers seem to indicate that this style of Reno Warrior is performing better than Tendril Warrior. Tendril Warrior does seem to be playable if you want to look up like the Tendril list, but I do think this Reno variant does seem to be the better of the two options. Giant Rogue has emerged as a playable deck. It's kind of all built around basically Gaslight Gatekeeper, where you want to shuffle your hand, redraw it, get out Playhouse Giants for 0 mana. You can copy them with Celestial Projectionist for another 0 mana. And then you have all the Sparkbot stuff going on with From the Scrap Heap. And you got your Mimiron, and you can give, you can get Wind Fury, you can get Divine Shield, and just, if they can't remove the Giants, you can just kill them with it. And it seems to be pretty effective. You have the new card in here, Everything Must Go, to give you some tempo when you do those giant card draw swings. And yeah, the numbers are solid on the deck. It's playable. So it's the first rogue deck I got to recommend so far during Whizbang's workshop. Reno Shaman and Pain Warlock are my 11th and 12th decks. There's not a lot of data, but they do seem to be okay. Reno Shaman does seem to be one of the decks to be trending as one of the better counters to Demon Hunter. And the list I found is still running Shroomskivate, because even though it's pretty bad, you really want your Finley to be active, right? You want those excavates for that reason. But it's kind of your run-of-the-mill, like got the new additions, Baking Soda Volcano, you got Shutter Block, but overall it's kind of the same old Reno Shaman from before. You want to just kind of get out your Dr. Holiday, get those taunts. That can be good against Demon Hunter as well. And your ETC's got some healing, a Viper, Dirty Rat, and overall, again, this is lower on my confidence rating as a playable deck, but I do think it's got some validity. I've had some viewers tell me they've been doing really well with the Reno Shaman, and the limited numbers I saw were relatively promising. And yeah, you might want to give it a try, but I wouldn't go out of my way to craft it. Same with Pain Warlock. Pain Warlock, new Warlock deck emerging. By the way, Sludge Warlock also still good. This is a more new variant with Imprisoned Horror, cheating out Molten Giants, and you can get more with Celestial Projectionist. Yeah, you got a lot of self-damaging effects to do early on. You got Sheriff Barrel Brib to negate some stats, Blood Treants again to self kind of get your health lower, and you got Ziliax in here as well with just buffing everything up. So overall, it's a bit more different, but it does seem to be working, and probably, Forge of Wills and Malefic Rook are in there. So maybe, just maybe, it's good enough. But again, lower on my confidence rating, but you got a lot of options for standard. That's 12 decks. And for Wild, Wild's kind of turned into a Priestone, but again, we're going to always recommend Even Shaman, because it's Even Shaman. You click the button, you buff stuff up, and you can actually run Ziliax. It shows a 7 mana, but it's a 0 mana card, until you add the module. So there you go. You can play Ziliax in there. Actually, what's the build? I'm just curious what we got in here. Ticking module and Haywire module. So there you go. We also have 2 Priest decks. The Priest is doing really, really well, but not the Raza. It's more of just, ticking extra turns. So Shadow Priest, we had a video on it not very long ago. Pure aggro. Go face a lot, play dragons, take an extra turn if you haven't killed your opponent already, get through an ice block possibly, and murder your opponent. It's pretty darn gross. Inner Fire Priest does a very similar thing, where you want to play a bunch of early game, get your dragons out there, get the Timeliner Zarimi going, so that, when you play Zarimi, you could just slap a Divine Spirit and like Inner Fire style stuff, or I guess a Bless onto it, and kill your opponent. So that is also very, very solid. Pirate Rogue got a bunch of tools this set, and I think they're using one of them, which is Toy Boat, right? It just gives you so much draw. There's also a Garrote Rogue going around that just has a bunch of cheap pirates. You draw your deck and kill your opponent with Garrote, but I thought I would go just more with this safe old Pirate Rogue pick, where you got your Swordfish and you kill your opponent with a lot of stats really early and snowball, and basically never run out of cards, because you do have Toy Boat in there as well. And lastly, we have Reno Renethal Quest Mage. Got the whole new Galactic Projection Orb, can recast the Mage Quest. You can also get the Parrot to do it again, Potion of Illusion to go infinite with Romath, and Slate Skater is in there as a nice new defensive option. Also, we got the Sweetened Snow Flurry for more quest activations, and I believe the new hidden objects. You can get more ice blocks, more objections. How not toxic is that? But one of the only slower-ish decks that seems to be working in a format where Even Warrior was just deleted. So there you go. I believe 12 standard decks, 5 wild decks. Good luck on the climbs. Codes are in the description down below. Hope you guys have good climbs and all of that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.